Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is July 30th, 2023. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good, feeling good. Let's see here. It's already warm, on this early Sunday morning. But that being said, I feel, feel solid. I got my little workout done. I got my groceries done. So we're just chilling. I got the Magic Pro Tour in the background. So I feel nice, feel good. I figured, hey, let's go ahead and talk about myself a little bit. Let's riff about some food I ate, and then let's talk about some news. So, yesterday, I was feeling really frisky, and I decided to go to Cece's. And that was a good and bad decision. Overall, it was, fine experience. I got to eat a bunch of pizza for like, $12 or so. And let's see, I don't really want to go over all of it. I would say here's my method. I usually like to start with a salad, or at least get a salad and then a plate of pizza. So I did that. I noticed they didn't have a macaroni pizza out, and I was like, damn, kind of salty. So I went ahead and asked for it, and they put it out. So I was like, yeah, nice. Got it on my second pass. They had a deep dish stuffed crust pizza kind of thing they were going for. It was just more or less stuffed crust, I feel like. But that was fine. It was good. It was yummy. And yeah, I want to say with the salad, I tapped out maybe about two or three plates. And then I was like, oh gosh. And then I still wanted to get like the little cinnamon roll thing. So I got that and like another plate of pizza. Nibbled on like one pizza. And there was only like two of the little cinnamon rolls left. And that was like a fresh batch. I was like, damn. But I was like, you know what? I'm fine. Like, it's not like I could handle anymore. So I had that feeling of like, man, I should have ate more. But then I'm also like, Isaiah, like, you're a blimp right now. you're primed to explode. So overall, it was a good CC's experience. I didn't quite eat myself under the table, and that's the way I like it. Let's see. And then today, I was at the grocery store, and I remember, and I was just like looking at these things. They had Oreo brownies. Essentially, they were like the cosmic brownies, but they were just covered in like Oreo on top. I was like, oh. And I was like, don't do this, Isaiah. You've already had a bad food decision under your jacket this weekend with CC's. Don't do this. But then I also remembered, I'm like, you know what? I've been wanting to try Biscoff cookies. I've been wanting to try them. I've seen them, and they look tasty. They look like little tasty little treats. So I went over and I saw they had a sleeve of Biscoff like vanilla cookies. So essentially, what they were like two Biscoffs in between, like, or they had like some vanilla icing in between them. So I was like, okay, this seems perfect. I get a little bit of like an almost like a like a grandma cookie kind of thing, a little vanilla cookie action. Get to see these Biscoffs, and overall they were good. They were a little bit more plain tasting than I expected. I kind of thought they'd be like sweeter, but that being said, that paired good with the little vanilla cream on the inside. So I'm a happy camper. I'm gonna nibble on those hopefully throughout the week, and hopefully not in a day. All right, so that's a food corner. Enough about me. I didn't really do anything else yesterday besides lounge around and be a potato. So yeah, let's get into some news. I'm gonna do my classic startup though. I'm in less of a hurry today. I'm ready to stop and melt with you guys. Okay. Ooh. Colombian president's son arrested in money laundering probe. I got this from Al Jazeera. Let's see here. Colombian police arrested the president's son on charges of money laundering and illicit enrichment as part of a high profile probe into funds he allegedly collected during last year's election campaign. The chief prosecutor's office said in a statement that Nicholas Petro and his wife Desirius Vasquez were taken into custody on orders of a court in Bogota about 6 a.m. local time on Saturday. The office said that once brought before a judge, prosecutors would seek their provisional detention as it investigates the two over allegations of money laundering. Now, Gustav Petro, which I believe he is liberal. I don't know if he's socialist. I really haven't dug too much into the politics of Colombia for real. But essentially, he says, "Hey, I'm not going to interfere with this," which is kind of cute because in some ways I believe Vasquez has implicated not just Nicholas but also him, and he's just simply denied the allegations and then further said, "Hey, you guys can actually go through with a probe against both of them. You can start an investigation." So that's more or less where we are now. I guess we're going to read what he said here. As an individual and father, it pains me to see so much self-destruction and one of my own sons going to jail. He wrote this on social media. As President of the Republic, I've assured the Chief Prosecutor's Office that it will have all the guarantees so that it can proceed according to the law. He wishes his son luck and strength, and may these occurrences forge his character, and may he reflect about his own errors. Okay, I don't know. That sounds really nice and regal, but very stuffy for the situation. Especially because, what they're, accused of doing is essentially, you guys got money, for essentially from drug traffickers, and you used it for your own selves, on luxury things and things of that nature. You didn't even use it for your campaign. Not that would make it better. But essentially for these drug traffickers, what they were getting out of it were they're essentially peace talks or whatever, or there was a total peace proposal. And essentially it was a focus on trying to get criminal groups to lay down their arms. And Petro has pledged to make peace or surrender deals with rebels and crime gangs to end Colombia's 60-year internal conflict, which has killed 450,000 people. But, these are kind of bum deals. This is kind of a bum situation if you're taking these shitty deals from, these drug traffickers and then just saying, okay, now we're better off for it. But, what about the country? So, what about Colombia? Now, I think there's some, talk of this isn't, this is kind of a smoke screen from conservatives. I don't know. When it came to Da Silva, we've talked about that when, with, was it Brazil? That made sense to me when it was explained further. And maybe this might do it too, but this feels suspect. This feels sussy. If you're on the take, then you're no good to the people. You know what I mean? Corruption is really fucking bad, and I think it's the biggest deterrent to any kind of liberal socialist change. But in general, it's bad. Even if you're on a conservative, bent, it's not good for you to say hey, we're trying to get laws enacted, and I support what these guys, are telling me. But if they aren't practicing it, if they're just gonna wilt to the, the biggest dollar, then they're no good to you either, right? So, this was something that was, brewing throughout this week. I wanted to talk about it a little bit. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and move along. This one kind of blindsided me here. But then again, it's just a fucking another shitty fucking cop. Let's just be fucking real. It's not that fucking surprising. From News 5 Cleveland, which is weird because this is a Boston story. I'm not going to ask questions on that, whatever. Boston Heights police chief arrested in Key West for beating homeless man for no apparent reason, police say. Let's see here. The Boston Heights police chief was arrested in Key West, Florida, early Friday morning for allegedly attacking a homeless man for no apparent reason, according to Key West police and jail records. Okay, so reading this out loud, yeah, that's it's Cleveland news, I guess, but then a Boston police chief and a Florida, situation. What a clue story we're really unraveling here. But this is really fucked up. I'm trying just to kind of slather some levity in where I fucking can. Officers responded to South Hard and Duval streets where the chief of police of Boston Heights, 40-year-old Chad McArdle, stated to officers that he was pushed and dragged into a vehicle outside a bar on Duval Street by two unknown men, according to the police report. So that's according to him, and he goes on to say, he said that when he was inside the vehicle, one of the men stabbed him in the face and chest with a stick. He said he grabbed the stick from his attacker and stabbed him in the throat with it, and that the man was probably dead now. Oh, okay. Just critical hit with the stick. All right, awesome. He said the men then dragged him from the vehicle into the alley and kept fighting the men in the alley. McArdle was not able to describe what happened next, according to the police report. Now, I do have to say this is all alleged, but I feel like even the police are like, just no, dude, we don't believe you. Like, this is weird. Like, but here, there's more. McArdle was unable to give officers an accurate description of the location of the attack, and he changed his story multiple times. He also gave conflicting descriptions of the alleged attackers and did not have any injuries consistent with being stabbed, even with a stick. Also, looking at the footage, they just didn't correspond with his statements. But during the investigation, Key West police officers located a local homeless man lying on the ground in the alleyway nearby. He told officers he was standing in the alley when he was kicked in the back by an unknown man. The homeless man fell to the ground, and the unknown man then kicked him in the back several times. Police walked the homeless man over to McArdle, and he positively identified McArdle as the person who the subject attacked and battered in an alleyway for no apparent reason. The homeless man told police he wanted to press charges. Paramedics provided medical assistance to him. And yet again, the police are like, we cannot prove anything that McArdle said. We can only say that, like, the homeless guy makes more sense here. So, McArdle was arrested at 3 a.m., booked into the Monroe County Jail, and charged with one misdemeanor count of battery. He's scheduled to be arraigned on August 17th at 9 a.m. Who knows if this guy's even going to lose his fucking job back in Boston, back in Beantown, for being wicked weird, dude. I don't know. I have no fucking words here. Yet again, like I said, just another fucked up story by a motherfucker behind the badge. I guess you can give a one up to the, Key West police for being like, look, dude, we did our due diligence here, and that we just cannot confirm what this guy's saying. We're not going to call him a liar, but we can't confirm it. So, oh no, I guess I did have something to add here, because there are other stories that I've heard, but I haven't covered on this podcast, of like these like weird vigilante cops, or they're like retired cops, chiefs, whatever, and they like go around and like what they literally will do is harass, beat up, accost homeless people. And it's like, what is the goal? And I guess for them, sometimes I can't speak for, this motherfucking guy, McArdle, this Chad motherfucker. But like, I guess the idea of like, they just have this aversion, this like hate, this loathing for people who are vagrants, who don't have, current means. I don't know. Sorry for my terminology if that's bad, whatever. But it doesn't make whatever the fuck you come up with right. Like, this is terrible. It's fucking horrible shit to do to another human being who's just trying to exist in this world, Like, I just don't know how these people come up with the justification in their minds that this shit's okay. This shit is all right. I'm gonna fucking just attack someone, a fellow human being. Because what? They don't have a home? Like, what? Like, that's crazy. Anyway, let's go ahead and move along. From trash to trash. CBS News. 8 family members charged in California $7.6 million recycling scheme. Okay. All right. This was a little bit of a interesting story. I live a little bit of a fraud, but then when I got into the story, I don't know. We'll get into my summations about how I feel about it. 8 family members have been accused of smuggling 178 tons of aluminum cans and plastic bottles from Arizona to California so they could take advantage of the Golden State's recycling programs. They fucked up here on this. It should be the 8 relatives are accused of defrauding California's beverage container recycling program of $7.6 million over an 8-month period. California Attorney General Rob Bonta said on Tuesday. The family members are facing charges of recycling fraud, grand theft, and conspiracy. So apparently they would bundle up this trash and then they would ship it to California and then, make their profit in California. Not only, is this recycling program something that you can make into something lucrative, they do, what is it? You can redeem empty cans and bottles for 5 or 10 cents return on eligible beverage containers, but only material from California is eligible. So, that's obviously a stipulation. But for these individuals in Arizona, there isn't a program available for this. Like, you don't have this kind of means. You just be recycling for, free or whatever. Let's see. The defendants were identified in charging documents as Melinda Cienez Gonzalez, Francisco Balmore, Amaya Sinez, Jose Raul Chica, Jose Antonio Intariano Martinez, Jose Alfredo Yoran Hernandez, Victor Manuel Hernandez, Manuela Rodriguez Rizo, and Gennaro Soles Fuentes. Prosecutors are requesting $30,000 bail for most of the defendants, but have asked for $50,000 bail from Balmar Amaya Sinez, and $10,000 bail for Soles Fuentes. Okay, so how I feel about it for real, I think this is kind of overblown. Like, at the end of the day, recycling is kind of a bum gig anyway, from what I've learned over the past year or so. Essentially, for most of our efforts, most of the things that we recycle wind up in a landfill not getting recycled anyway, like a very small fucking percentage, and that's a really big bummer to me. Now, they do say that they're trying to make better efforts to make more use of the recycling that we're giving to them, and that's good. But I don't know. To me, I see this as like people getting their bag, making a little bit of money where they can here, and essentially California or the countries, parties, or states. I'm sorry, states and parties involved being like, we gotta put the kibosh on this. We gotta make an example of these people, and it's like, why? For recycling? Like that's at the end of the day, all they're doing is recycling and making their money about it. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too pro-crime here, but I do think this is a little bit outrageous. But hey, I mean, it is what it is. Garbage is a dirty game. What can you say? But yeah, if there's any updates, I'll definitely keep you guys covered. We have one more thing to talk about before I let you go. Excuse me. It means I got a little last break to take. All right. From the Insider. Also, I don't know if I said the last one from CBS News. I feel like I did, but worst case, there you go. It's cited. But this one is from the Insider. A 46,000-year-old worm found in Siberian permafrost was brought back to life and started having babies. So this was a pretty little bit of a kooky science story that came up I wanted to talk about. But scientists discovered a female microscopic roundworm that has been stuck deep in Siberian permafrost for 46,000 years. When they revived it, the worm started having babies via a process called parthenogenesis, which doesn't require a mate. According to the press release, the worm spent thousands of years in a type of dormancy called cryptobiosis. In that state, which can last almost indefinitely, all metabolic processes pause, including reproduction, development, and repair. So yeah, I mean, this worm was just chilling, and I guess apparently how they tilled it like gently out of the earth, and then that's I think more or less all it took, just that gentle tilling, and then like being exposed, just like activated the worm, and it was back to life, even though it was never dead. I think a scientist described it as like more or less suspended animation. It wasn't dead. It wasn't alive, really. I mean, it was not dead, so I guess you could say it's alive, but all its functions were just more or less just paused. And this tilling, woke it up, and then it had babies. Now, apparently, it's not like a new thing. This is like a known thing to scientists. They believe there's like a ton of kind of worms, or I think nematodes, they say a lot in this article, that are found all throughout the world, especially like underwater. So there's tons that we don't know about. But this is also one that we don't know about. We don't have, like, I guess, a name for it yet. So I'm like, okay, that's interesting. So yeah, I figured I'd talk about it, a little worm news for you. But yeah, that's more or less all I have for today. So, that's it. That's the episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love you. Bye-bye. Mwah.